Okay, guys. Hello. Welcome. Come in. And you are watching tonight me and Suter Conrad, who was a teacher at Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools. And we're going to break down for you what has happened thus far with the Power School debacle, with Catherine Truitt, etc. But first of all, here we actually made the libs of TikTok. Are we proud of this? Kind of, but not really. Unfortunately, we had to write this story that the North Carolina schools allow children to change their name and sex without parental consent. The new changes make the North Carolina school system the most hostile to parents' rights. And I'm going to defend that right now with you. So what's happened is within the last few weeks, we're not really sure. The DPI under Catherine Truitt's leadership has made the fields that show gender, okay, invisible to teachers. We're learning that principals didn't know about this change ahead of time. Data managers didn't know about this change ahead of time. And I'm talking to 2 school board members in 2 different counties that did not know. So we've had people writing in and calling us from Wake County, from Charlotte Mecklenburg school system, and from Orange County, and I think Moore County, telling us the same thing. And so what this means is that you, as the parent, you say that my child's name on the data form is Johnny Smith, and he's a male. Johnny Smith, male. So this is the parent's order. The parents, okay, fill this out, send it to the school, and the school then puts in the computer, Johnny Smith, male, right? So what this does is upend parental rights, because the schools don't give a damn about what you say, because it's what they say, and they're not going to put any gender. I'll tell you another change that was made in Power School as well, is that in addition to putting Johnny Smith, if a child wants to go by a different name, another name, they can. Now, Catherine Truitt will tell you that this is just a nickname placeholder. There's one problem with that. LGBTQ rights groups have been just browbeating all of the superintendents that have, come before her and others into making this very change, because they call it dead naming. So if I'm born Sloan and I want to be Bobby, my dead name is Sloan because that was my birth name, right? So this is called dead naming, and this is a change that the LGBTQ crowd has wanted forever. And now it seems she's made another concession to the LGBT lobby. Why do I know? Because the excuse that she has given us now for removing the gender from the rosters is that they don't want a lawsuit for misgendering students, but the DPI doesn't worry about any lawsuits from giving all of these surveys that ask the most demeaning personal questions of children, including what is your sexuality, what is your gender? They're not stopping that. They're not worried about parents of disabled students suing the DPI because of the program she instituted or continued that has critical race theory in it for disabled 3- and 4-year-olds that ask them to decenter their whiteness. So they're not worried about getting a lawsuit from any other group but the LGBTQ, and Catherine Truitt is willing to trample on parents' rights in order to fulfill their wishes. Suter, as a parent, what do you think of this?
Well, one, my child is a female, and that's what she is, and that's what she will be. Now, I'm not saying that, if she decided as an adult that she wanted to become something else, we would not accept her and love her, because we're her parents and that's what we would do. But going to the transgender thing, I did a little research. True medical transgenderism, which there is a true medical transgenderism, is 1 in 100,000. So that's what, 33% of the population. So that
can't be 33%.
Not 33, 3%. Sorry. Like it's 33,000 or something like that out of a million or something like that. So it's a really small,
yeah,
right, number. And they make concessions, and they always have, for students that have that true medical transgenderism.
Oh, sure.
And you want them to, because that, I mean, you don't want a child to feel uncomfortable at school. Any child that walks through my classroom door, I'm going to accept them as who they are. And any good teacher will do that. What they're doing isn't doing that. They're taking away parental rights. That's what's wrong.
Right. Because they're not saying, okay, look, we're going to keep this as is in our roster. I'm not going to worry a damn bit about a lawsuit for misgendering if the parents have put Johnny as a male. Okay, that's on them. If they want to come in here and give me parental permission to change the gender, I will. But without the gender there, Johnny can be a girl for a couple of weeks and he can be Sally for a couple of weeks. So it's very troublesome. It's without the parents knowing. Now, again, Catherine Truitt is pushing back. And she always seems to do that, right? And she pushes back with lies. It's never the truth. So we don't know what we're getting here, right? Now, today we're hearing another story is that, well, gosh darn it, the gender is available to some people in the schools, but not to others. And so we're getting a completely different story than we did 2 days ago. Make it stop, Catherine Truitt. Make it stop. Quit the excuses. We don't give a damn about the excuses. You are turning our state and every school into it, something that you would expect Cori Bush or AOC to do.
Right.
Make it stop. As a teacher, because we're hearing from a lot of teachers, this is demonstrably unfair to teachers who are already overburdened by some are out sick, right? Some are they're fed up like you. They quit because of all this diversity crap that they have that's creating a hostile work environment. They're overburdened. So what am I missing here? So Power School, how important is Power School to a principal and teacher at this school level?
Well, okay. So the main functions of Power School is, first of all, attendance, which, I mean, the gender is not really going to matter for attendance. That's where you put your grades in. And now, I mean, to put a grade in is obviously not going to matter that. However, if we're always trying to look at the different subgroups when it comes to grades and test scores, you don't think that gender matters? But they didn't remove race, did they? So let's remove this subgroup, but not another.
They didn't stop the surveys, did they?
Nope, didn't stop the surveys.
They're still asking children how old they were when they lost their virginity, how many sexual partners they've had. They're still asking that.
Yep. But
as far as I know.
Also, and test scores, obviously, that what I just talked about, the subgroup, but then you go into managing classrooms. So at the end of the school year, I know at our school, what we did was we filled out placement cards. And the placement card, by the way, did have gender on it as well, because you don't want a classroom that is overrun, or you want a balanced classroom.
Yeah.
Half boys, half girls is nice. I'll tell you, most of the time it's still male heavy, depending on the time and the generation. But a lot of what I've taught is usually male heavy. There's been a couple of years that have been female heavy also. And I'm going to tell you, if you get a class full of boys, you're going to be run ragged. I love all the kids, but a lot of times the boys are more hyperactive. They don't mature as quickly as girls. Yeah. And I'm not even talking about, even IQ levels or anything like that, but maturity level, you don't want a class full of boys, especially from middle school down, because there is a big maturity level between girls and boys. And then, you've got girl drama. Nobody wants a class full of girl drama either. And believe me, that starts in first grade. So
right.
That can completely change how you teach and the dynamics. Not to mention, the kids need to have that mixture as well. So they need to learn to get along with others.
Well, what I can't understand, Suter, is that a priority for North Carolina in their 2025 plan, their 5-year plan, is equity, right? We've heard so much about it. It's based on two things: race and gender. What the hell happened to the gender?
Well, I guess they want it to decide whoever they want to be at that, like you said, that day.
So, yeah, I mean, so what Catherine Truitt now is saying that some people can see the gender and some can't. The LEAs have to grant special permission. What the hell does that mean? And does that make any sense to you?
Well, here's my question that goes with that. And I actually had somebody comment on the article that they were going to be calling their school. This lady was from Wilmington, a mother in Wilmington concerned about this, said she'd be calling her school to ask to see if it was taken off because she couldn't find it on her power school, but wanted to know, new kids coming in, or is the enrollment, will they even have it on the enrollment? I haven't heard back. I was hoping I would hear back before we spoke today, just so I could have a little bit of that. But that was a great question. Are they going to even be putting it on enrollment? If Truitt is saying some people will be allowed to know and some people won't, you would think they would put it on there. But then again,
that doesn't make sense.
What they're trying to do is take away parental rights. Number one.
Oh, I mean, bottom line, what they're trying to do is we are being held hostage. 1.5 million children and their families are being held hostage by the LGBTQ lobby. That's what it is. I don't give a damn what she says. These are the fundamental facts. And she can tinker. Look, I want to tell you guys something listening tonight. Pay attention. Complexity favors the powerful. Complexity favors the powerful. When you read this BS article in North State Journal, which I wouldn't line my birdcage with, all they are is a propaganda arm for Catherine Truitt, and they're hurting our children. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. When you read that stupid article, they don't proffer one bit of evidence in that article. Not one. We've got evidence in ours, and we've talked to 3 different sources. So parental rights are very important. And don't tell me that it's controlled by the LEA. The data managers, Suter, we verified data managers in 3 different districts did not know. So if the data managers don't know, how can that be true?
I mean, I honestly want to know what the end game is, because let's be honest, the people I know in the LGBTQ community,
they don't like this.
They don't like it either. They're like, what is this? What is this profit?
Well, you know what? We've said it before. We'll keep saying this. You're trying to erase gay people. You're making it so that it's not okay to be gay. Because let's say if you're a gay boy, you don't have to give up your gender to be gay.
Not at all.
But it also erases girls. And I want to talk about that. How do you know if in STEM class we're recruiting enough girls? Because that's the priority, right? And then of course this makes it so that anyone can be on any sports team. That's what it's doing. This is a huge gift to the most radical LGBTQ, not even the mainstream, the most radical under Catherine Truitt's leadership. Now, again, complexity favors those in charge. And so she's going to give a lot of complex. Well, you see, some people can see it and some people can't. And there's another field in here that you can do it, another field in that. I don't give a damn. The LGBTQ community is praising up and down Catherine Truitt. And I didn't hear her, Suter, correcting the record when they came out to praise her for all this. But now all of a sudden that we're exposing it, she's coming out with, well, you see, if you push this lever, you can see it, and that lever, you can see it. And we gave everybody a notice. And by the way, don't you know, she's called you guys liars.
Of course she has.
Principals and teachers and school board members, they're lying. And the DPI is telling the truth that they gave plenty of notice. Now, you know, you've been a teacher. When the DPI makes a major change, don't you guys get trained at the wazoo?
Well, and not to mention the emails that flood in when there's going to be a change on Power School.
Yeah.
Or like every 2 hours for a week. And I'm not exaggerating. It becomes ridiculous with Power School and the amount of emails you get when there's like even just a small site change. So the fact that she's saying she let people know, but I've talked to counselors, I've talked to other teachers. When I asked them, they were like, I don't know, I'm going to have to go look on Power School. And lo and behold, it's gone. Principals, like you said, parents can't see it.
Can't see it either. Okay. We didn't know. I didn't know that because okay. So
it's gone off their pages as well. So, because there's a section under the demographics, obviously.
I guess now, okay, so let's follow Catherine Truett's logic, which is hard. Okay. So LEAs are going to give some people permission and some people don't get permission, and parents don't get permission. Teachers don't get permission. Principals don't get permission. So who the F is getting permission?
Good question. Panorama. Panorama's giving
right. Panorama, the same ones, right? You're probably not wrong. The same ones that are going to ask your child 3 or 4 different times, 3 or 4 different ways to try to trick them. Are they gay? Are they transgender? Are they thinking about being mad? So the state has no problem with asking those questions, but they have another problem with asking this. Why not just remove race then?
Exactly. Because I mean, that would solve a lot of our problems.
Wouldn't it?
I mean,
well, that's probably your answer then. Our answer, we have our answer is that's why not.
So if you don't know what race a person is on the scores, oh, look, you're just being given scores on your merit, not by your race.
Wow, that would be refreshing. Never
right?
Would happen.
And honestly, I don't see an issue with taking the gender off that for that only purpose. For, you know, the merit purpose, I don't, but at the same time, you do want to still be able to see the difference in male and female, because let's be honest, God made us different.
Right.
Made us all different.
If it's about equity and you're removing female, you're erasing women, you're erasing girls. Yep. That's what you're doing. That's what this is all about. You're putting boys first and girls last. It's the whole thing. This whole thing is insane. And again, this state has turned into the absolute bottom of the barrel worst. I think we're 39th in the state or in the country.
30. Yep.
39th, I think. And then we're playing these stupid games. Catherine Truett got a scathing rebuke in the Washington Examiner a few weeks ago, and actually from the General Assembly for, despite taking in billions and billions of dollars, not even focusing on learning and recovery. You know what she started? I think somebody started the Office of Learning and Recovery. How stupid, taking in billions and billions of dollars, but not even making up for the learning curve. When are we going to get back to learning, Catherine Truett? Let me ask you that. I'm looking right in the camera at you. When? Tell us when. You ran on this. The school system is broken and I'm going to fix it. Yeah, it's even more brokener now, right?
Brokener. It's just like jumped up and down on it's what she's done.
Right. Yeah, so to distract you, I guess the methodology she's using is to distract you from it being broken. I'm going to really break it, right? I mean, so again, North Carolina has become the last that we know of to honor parental rights. This is just disgusting what's happened. We look over in California where we would expect to find the same policy. We didn't. What we did find is that California is being heralded now as the first in the country to allow college students to be able to offer up an alternative name on their school records. That's college students. We looked, we can't find it. Oh, here's another one. Catherine Truett blamed it on Joe Biden. So explain to me how Joe Biden singled North Carolina out and forced us to take the contract with Power School that we've paid for, right? That the General Assembly has appropriated the money for. And he forced Catherine Truett to change the gender policy and not tell anyone. Remember, she did not, until I can have proof otherwise, she did not tell anyone. Suter, that article today in North State Journal, it said that some email went out in January, but they refused, or they did not, they neglected to print that email, had not a shred of proof. I'm waiting to see that email.
Well, if it's an email, isn't it in the sent box? Should be easy enough to print out.
Well, I mean, why would you, as a journalist, which I actually am, I wouldn't dream of not talking or interviewing anyone, but the actual person that's, putting on a load of bull and malarkey and not print the email. Why would you do that?
It's the sneaky stuff that they do.
They're all working together. North State Journal is working together with Catherine Truett. And I actually do have receipts for that, and I'll be showing them very soon. I have text messages from Jamie Falkenberry saying that thank God for you, Andrea Dillon. Thank God for you covering our asses. I tip my hat to you. I'm
I want to
paraphrasing.
know how many lawyers have called, because from what I've seen, parents are livid.
Parents are pissed. This is one of the biggest. This is a huge story. I mean, this is a tremendous story. Parents are pissed. You ought to be pissed. They're trying to erase what you write on your sheet here. You
Yep.
say Johnny's a boy or a girl, whatever it is, and you send them in, and they don't give a damn because they're, according to them, they're only letting certain people, certain elite people see it. Not me, not you.
Not the school board, not the principals. So is that it? Her and her minions and Panorama. That's apparently the only people that are allowed to know our genders.
Only the special few, Suter. It's only the ones who really are in the circle of trust. And parents, apparently, we're not in that circle.
No.
So, all right. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up. But again, this is a huge story. We're going to stay on it because, look, Catherine Truitt works for you.
Yep.
Who's elected by you. Every single person in that building, that woefully overpaid Department of Public Instruction, they work for us. Who the hell do they think they are, taking all the parents out of the equation? This is unlawful, certainly. It's definitely disgusting, and we're not going to allow for it. Now, I do want to give props out to Ben Moss, Representative Ben Moss. I think I read that you cover Moore and part of Moore in Lee County. You stepped up this morning and you said, no, this is taking away parental rights, and the General Assembly is going to act and do something about it. We applaud you, Representative Ben Moss. Way to go.
And I want to see more stand up. I want to see it.
I want to see people on, it doesn't matter. Look, parental rights has no party.
Nope.
People want this in every party. This is not a political thing.
And I think, honestly, it started when they took away the parental rights for kids to make medical decisions.
Yeah, I think,
this is a medical decision. Let's be honest. It's a medical decision.
Yeah, I mean,
the point.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's everything. And by the way, it gives wackos a license to groom our children.
Yep.
But that's for another show. This is basic. Yeah, we could go on. There's so many problems with this, Suter.
I know there's like so many rabbit holes you can go down just because of this one thing that she did.
But that's why it's so important. I mean, when you make a big decision, guys, I mean, any of you that work in any organized, place, you know that you need to socialize big ideas up, right? You need to have backing before you do it. You need to warn people. You need to do that. I can tell you that with these big software products, this is a special order. I guarantee you, the customability here was probably designed for them in the Power School. They probably worked on it for 3 months. So maybe she was thinking, hey, we've been working on this for 3 months instead of we've told people for 3 months, right? Because this isn't something you just flip a switch and, okay, we've eliminated this field. It's a production.
Yep.
So I'm disgusted by this whole thing. So, all right. Well, thank you for tuning in, guys. And we will keep you updated probably as soon as tomorrow. So thank you very much for tuning in. And again, if you know of anybody that needs to hear about this, you need to forward this video as many times as you possibly can. We've got to get the word out. Thank you.